Hi, Susan from Worldpeacefull. I'm going to read a poem I've written today, and I'm going to share insights that I've had over the last 24 hours, and to sort of convey via this poetry the importance of facing conflict, the importance of being transparent in conflict, and learning from disclosures. As we all sort of grapple or attempt to be seen and known by others, sometimes it can be very difficult when others are very different. They may not understand another's perspective, it's not their experience. They may well value things that you don't. And through that clashing up, the challenge, I guess, for all of us is to make up in the end. I always believe that love is the ultimate uniter amongst people. Fear is what divides us. Fear is what sits in judgment. Fear is, in a sense, condemnation. But by the same token, I would say that expressing one's emotions is very important. It's very much looked down upon in our society as a loss of control, but it's actually not. And when I say that, I mean there is truth in the fact that there's a loss of control. So I'm just going to go against that for a sec and just simply say that you're not trying to control. But on the other hand, there's nothing diminishing in a loss of control, as this is where truth can break through. When people are trying to be seen to be, there's a false sort of perspective that comes across, a false face. Or even, as Trump has famously stated, fake news. We have fake news in everything, when we present ourselves in ways that's not true. And of course, we're living in a world that encourages these personas that are not true, because if you reveal your true face, your true feeling, that's seen as unprofessional, or it's seen as too revealing, or or too heavy. We try and smooth this life by showing up in ways that's acceptable to others. And as was wisely stated to me in the last 24 hours, it doesn't matter what people think. And I know that that's true. But sometimes, our own human frailty, our own human needs is to be understood. And without knowing others, and this is an unfortunate part of communicating via writing, people don't know each other. So there is an infinite possibility of misunderstanding through writing, because it's not like you're sitting face to face with someone, you're getting to see the person. Writing is a completely different mode of communication to what I'm doing now, which is talking. When you actually sit with someone, it's even different again. And the things you might say in a written piece would not be the same as what you would say in front of someone. You might even say it better in front of them, and you would be more sensitive. See, technology, what it does is it disconnects that sensitization from one another. And so when we ignore people, we're not seeing that they're hurting, and we're not caring that they're hurting. We just go, oh, well, I haven't got time for that. We make quick judgments. It's not in my interest. But we forget that there's a human on the other side. So this poem is really about an experience I've had, but it's also based on a dream I've had as well, which was the real core of why the conflict arose like it did. So it's called Nuclear Thunder Allows the Dove of Love to Land in Both Hands of Freedom. This is a song line. It is a moving line. It is an unbroken line in the sand. I saw a nuclear explosion in my dream. The sky was blood red. I was pulled into an attic. A man was with me, helping me. I didn't sleep all night as I grieved my world. A part of me is dying to live. We are living in a world of make-believe. Some make us believe in what is not true, as they shape-change storylines, edit the script, spin the truth in webs of deception. I sit reeling as I am feeling bereft. Cyber networks eavesdropping, not leaves dropping, as autumn becomes the winter of our discontent. The orphan is outside the window. The warm families laugh and sing in the warmth inside. Outsiders and insiders, as money is the line of control, left wanting. Money buys inclusion. Money buys acceptance. Money crafts images and roles. Money directs energy as prices rise and fall. Walls on the street keep in, then keep out. Inquiries into misappropriation, embezzling the seeds of greed. As addiction must get another fix, a tourniquet is tightened in order to mainline what feels good. Families divide as judgment decides what is right or wrong. Yet opinion pieces is not peace. As anger is released to draw a line in the sand, as are we each other's keepers? Or should they just eat cake? We come down from the mountains of indifference into the dirt of what is real, in valleys that feel like depressions. Can we reach out over lifeless plains to find each other? As we are same but different. And indifference is the gavel that cares not. Yet truth is the thunderbolt that strikes out at ignorance. This shakes up and clears the air as untruth divides. Love unites on time. To say what you think can be rough, can be indignant, can be emotional, can be distressing. Yet it is undressing to become naked before truth. It is to be who you are without fanfare and smooth recitals. It is to be fair in the end as the dust settles. For we must become clear, every one of us, and take the risk of losing the battle to find the success in letting go of what does not serve us. Surveillance, gossip, innuendo, premise, suggestion, assumption, precise wording, reports, briefings, papers. No, not truth. For truth can only unite in the end when it is heard. For you must listen to critique. You must allow for challenge. You must be prepared to be outed. For we are all under the spotlight, as truth is the arbiter in the end that sustains all life, but not the lie of indifference, which sits on the fence after creating chaos. Yet as I have written, chaos has an underlying order, karma, and that must play out whether we like it or not. There are no mistakes in the universe, for it is the one song singing, a moving line for all to hear. We are each other's keepers, and as night follows day, we cannot bear false witness to another, for the highest respect is full disclosure. The dark and the light is no longer hidden, for we are a leaf out of the world book, or perhaps the tree of life. And the root of this drama returns to love. For this is the dove waiting to land in freedom, awaiting your attention. Why not surveil for that? And all war dissolves to move us beyond the cloudy mist of mass extinction. I felt to write that just now because that for me was the gold out of a recent conflict I've had. Sometimes think we've just got to be who we are, in each moment, and of course that can change. That's not deception though. Change means we have many aspects to us. Sometimes we can shine at our greatest and fullest light. Other times we're down, we might convey the world in a more cynical light. Other times we're incredibly angry and we're direct and we hit the mark, and we can be, unable to really sensitively connect to the other in those moments. But anger, like all emotion, is an emotion that must be released. We must never deliberately seek to hurt another, and at times we do. But to be quick to apologise, to be quick to look for the good, is how we can heal those situations, because none of us are perfect. Sometimes, the diamond, it's got a rough cut, yet that diamond can be polished and can shine and can be incredibly strong when it's come out of a very harsh environment. I remember a good friend of mine who did a most amazing painting of this little plant coming up through the hard soil. And he described it as, this little fragile plant breaking through the harshness of its own environment, because each and every one of us is very fragile. That's why we have all these, protections around us. If we were not so fragile, we wouldn't need them. And I think for me, the challenge going through this life is to actually let go of protection. It is to become defenseless. I'm still defending my position, I'm still in that space of defense. Some people refer to it as kind of protecting, we're kind of protecting our sacred cows, if you like. And I think once you get to the point where you can just let go of that protection and allow those arrows, without trying to block them, just let people shoot their arrows, into exploding what they see as your myth. And that's okay too. Imagine being indefensible, and that's one of my goals, actually, is to become indefensible, meaning don't defend anything. It's a long road, this road we're on, as we seek to determine what's true and what's not. But I do think bouncing up against people is good. Unfortunately, in the world we're in, we're not really getting those forums where we can really clash it up in person. Unfortunately, because of the cyber reality, everything's becoming, like a movie. It's not real because the technology divides us. We're not sitting in front of each other. You're not holding someone's hand when they're crying. You're not sitting with the mother who's just lost her child, or maybe she's sitting in the rubble of a war zone. You're not crouching in terror at some plane going over, or maybe you're in a boat trying to find safety. Whatever it is that a person experiences, it's a third dimensional experience. But we've crafted a world on 2D, 2 dimensions. And we're calling it a real world and it's not. Calling it a revolution and it's not. It's an illusion, a really big one. And so those lines of control, those lines of conflict, they're going to increase in the future because we're not meeting face to face. We're going to, in this type of environment that's being crafted around us, people can create misinformation left, right, and center, and you're not going to know the difference. So in a sense, where people have sought to gain advantage through misinformation, it comes back, that arrow turns back. This is why I talk about truth, and I'm learning it as well. It's not like I'm sitting here preaching to everybody, you should all be like me. Not at all. I see my own confusion as well, so I'm working with that. I'm using it as grist for the mill, really. To speak plain, to speak straight, to speak without scripts, to not seek to influence. That's the jewel in the crown, Then we can start to get somewhere in respect of resolving all conflict. Sometimes we have to have a fight and get ugly. It happens, particularly if you're with someone who's pretty tough, And maybe you're tough too, and they have to get up there with you as well. But let's just hope, as one, has this sort of contrast, that this further defines who they become in a better way. And I always feel that if you're, in search of truth, it will. If you're in denial and you go, oh, they're wrong, they're an idiot, they're this, they're that, then you've actually lost the opportunity to really see into the truth of what's been put to you. See, I know that we're all equal, and I am listening, I'm always listening for truth. I'm always listening to see what that other has to say, because there'll be something there for me to learn, and I'm interested in learning, and I could be wrong. But at the moment, all I do is, I guess, flow with what feels right, with an honourable intention of communicating for the benefit of others, because I believe in visibility. That's why I'm doing more media work. I just believe in visibility. I think that's how we can solve stuff. But at the same time, I also think inner work is important too, which is to know thyself and be true. So with that, I will finish. I hope you liked my poem. I certainly hope my dream doesn't come true, but that's what set me off into turmoil. But I think there's a wise piece to that poem where I see a part of myself dying, and that's a good thing. And perhaps that part of myself that is dying is the part that believes the negative is true when it's not. Maybe that's the joke. Anyway, take care. Much love. Speak your truth. Be upfront. You may be amazed at what comes out the other end. Bye.